Hi guys, and welcome. We're going to take us a little journey and we're going to go see something that I've never seen before. We're going to go check out Si Satchanalai. And I know my Thai is terrible, but Si Satchanalai Historical Park. And it's an outpost from the former Khmer Kingdom, and it's north of Sukhothai about an hour. So let's go see what we can see. So right by the park entrance, I had to stop and look at this. This is cool. So they have this stone wall built, and it has the little doorway with the stone right over the top of it. And there's ruins all around in here, and they've cleared most of the trees and they've cut the grass, but you can see ruins up in the trees. And this is a little chetty from a former temple that was here. So these ruins are all from the former Khmer, and it's also part of the Sukhothai kingdom. So all of these are 13th, 14th century. And this is what you see. Got some of the local workers here relaxing after cutting some grass and doing all the manual labor. All right, so let's go inside. All right, so we're inside the historic park of Si Satchanalai. Now, this was all part of Sukhothai. It was a little town further north, but it was all part of the same kingdom. And the same way, whenever Ayutthaya came to power, this was all abandoned. And what you see when you first come in is a cool little stone bridge here, and this is the old stonework down below. And we'll go into the city wall and see the ruins inside. Now, entrance fee is 20 baht for a Thai, and of course the dual pricing, I get to pay 100 baht for the exact same experience. The dual pricing still by far the most irritating thing about Thailand. So right ahead here is the city wall. It has the moat outside here, or the irrigation canal, whatever it was used for. So the old stones. And as always in the jungle, life finds a way to thrive. Just gets a little root, gets enough moisture, and it can grow. So this is the Ram Na Rong gate. So the ruins here seem to be in a little better shape than quite a few of them in Sukhothai. The outer wall is still pretty much intact, and this temple here, it's in really good condition for being abandoned in the 16th century. It still has the external wall, and looks like they covered part of it to keep the weather from destroying it all the way. But wow, this is spectacular. So there is the bell-shaped chetty, and it still has part of the stucco or the plaster on the piers here. So you can envision what it looked like. Still has the corners on it. How fantastic is that? And then up at the very top, a couple little sprigs of trees have found a way in. And then you can see how it was constructed with the stones, and then you can see the mortar inside of it. And then here, so this would have been covered, so the wooden roof is gone. And this is the outer wall, and this is what they're keeping this covered here keep the weather off of it. But how cool is this? Wow. So all this was 13th, 14th, 15th century, left abandoned. The jungle took it over and they've reclaimed it. And so think about the workmen that were going about doing this. So what they laid there with their hands is still with us today after all these generations. And here's the main chetty. You can see the vines have grown up it, but still spectacular. And looking around, there is not another soul here. At the front gate, there was a Thai ranger that was talking about the ruins and the city and stuff like that. But other than that, there is nobody else in this whole place. Let's go up the stairs and see what's up here by the chetty. So looking back, so there would have been a Buddha set on that pedestal right there, and that would have been covered. Wow, those piers must be, I don't know, 20 meters tall. So this building that was covering this would have been amazing. All right, so let's look inside here. The stones. How many hundreds of thousands of feet have climbed these stairs? I've got some birds in here. All right, so this would have been the central hall and the main Buddha of this temple. So it would have been right here. You still see the outline of it in the plaster. So we came here, burned some incense, probably rubbed some gold on it. Oh. And it's dark. I don't know if you can see any of that, but it goes around in a circle here. Don't know what's back in here. Oh, there's a bird nest right there. So the pigeons found a nice little home. So back in here behind, you can see a lot more of the original stuff here. You can see it, me using my flashlight from my other phone. And this would have been another Buddha image right here. So here's the stairs going down. It's pretty steep. Now, if anybody's ever been to Angkor Wat in Cambodia, it kind of has a similar feel, except for the stairwell is about a third as high as the one that goes into the main Buddha there at Angkor Wat. And some of the ruins of some of the smaller little chetties. So this had a stone rail that went all the way around it. Still mostly intact on the backside. And then you can see some of the remnants of the Buddha statues that they must have had circling around this whole chetty. There's the little alcove that would have had an image in it also. That's the flowers growing here. This little purple flower right here. And then more of the jungle. And the stonework right down here. So I wonder how tall those little columns were. another little part of the wall. Okay, so they have some of these right here still. And you still see these used today. These kind of mount, or they mark like the boundary of the monks' area to do their blessings. But it's all in, it's Thai and Buddhism. I don't really understand it, but they still use those today. The outer wall of the temple here. So that was Wat Nang Paya. Now, all of this, the only thing that's remaining still is the temples, because they were made out of stone. So any houses were made out of wood, and after this was abandoned, the wood would have rotted away in the jungle. So all that is left is anything that was made out of any real hard substance. And the temples were what they spent all the effort in to make it out of stone. All right, so let's take a look at Wat Suan Gao. There's a little bit of information, but it doesn't talk very much about it. It just talks about how many buildings it had, and here's the little map that they made into the stones. Looks like we found some other people here. So the outer wall of the temple is still intact also with this one. And you can see the stupa. So the stupa is not intact, it's just the base of it. So it was a big area, and this really is a big area for this temple. So the stones have eroded quite a bit here, but at one time this would have been all flat. You'd have been able to come up here and pray. They'd have the Buddha statue right there. And the stupa. You can still see those stairs at the base of the stupa. But all of it is eroded down. Have some workers over there taking a break. Okay, so this temple here is amazing. It's Wat Chedi Chet Dao. I know my pronunciation isn't very good, but it's the temple of a lot of Chedis, and the condition of them are spectacular. They still have the outer wall. They just have this whole area just full of stuff. How cool is this? I can't even say how much fun this is to see. Got a tree here. It's just like cemented into the stones. Now the one thing I would caution you, if you're here, is to be careful of the big red ants. If you stop, seems to be a red ant on your foot instantly. And since I'm wearing my safety sandals, they're finding purchase on my toes. Not as much fun as you would think getting bit by a red ant on the foot. But it's the trials you have to go through in order to go and see stuff like this. Just take that in. So there would have been a covered one. You can see part of the Buddha that's still there. And you can see right there, still has the base of that Chedi still has some of the stuff remaining. the main stupa of the whole temple right there. All right, let's go up and see the main part of that. So it looks like right here would have been, it's the bottom of a Buddha statue, just his feet in the lotus position. You can just see it right there. That would have been his crossed feet. And then the body is completely missing. And then they would have had something here on this pedestal. And all this would have been covered underneath the roof. You can still see a little bit of like the Nagas up there, right at the bottom of the bell. And then another stupa in the background. That one is in really, really good shape. That's our next stop. This place is truly magnificent. It's can't even tell you guys how much fun this is, walking out here through the trees, seeing these giant ruins. Just amazing. I'm sure up here they probably left a little shrine. See the stairwells up to the task. It's a little steep, but it's not too bad. Yeah, and you can see the outline in the stucco right there of the Buddha statue that was in here. And over here, outside of the wall, it had a little shrine or something over there. All the stories are long forgotten. All the like young husbands that are coming here to pray for luck and blessings for raising his family. Maybe a young mom gonna have a baby soon, comes here wanting to get a blessing for, you know, the health and prosperity of the child coming, or an old grandma that just lost her husband or something like that. All those stories are all gone. All that's left though is the stones. So you can still see those little marker stones for the monks that mark the boundary of their area for their blessings. And then you can still see the little stone elephants right here at the bottom of this chetty. It's missing the tusks, but still has the ears. Just amazing. So right here in the main stupa, they still have the remnants of a standing Buddha. And then they have a couple more parts of them right there. And that one is completely gone now. Still see the Nagas and everything around the top. Just amazing. All right, let's go on to this beauty up here. All right, and guys, just when you couldn't think it could get any better, here we are at Wat Chong Lom, which is like the circle of elephants. and you can see them around the base of the chetty. So Wat Chang Lom. This was built in 1285 by King Ramkhamhaeng, and it has 39 elephants around the base of it. And it talks that there's a lot of Sri Lankan influence in the shape of the spire. But it's built in the Sukhothai style, but the Sri Lankan influence is all through this area, the same as from India with some of the Hindu stuff that you see. But I have been to Sri Lanka, and you can see some of the similarities. I went to a 2,000-year-old temple in Colombo that had a similar, like, bell-shaped top of the temple there. But this is spectacular. And again, you're just out here in all these trees. You're surrounded by ruins. Oh, just to have been able to see this city at the height of its power would have been really fun. So here are the elephants right here at the base. And they have the bigger elephant on the corners. And then you can see the railing around the top of the pedestal up there. You can see how they constructed it. So they built it out of stone first, and then they put the plaster over the top of it. And you can still see the details, like around the mouth. And the tusk is broken off, but you can still see where it was. And they put detail all the way down to the feet. And this one here has a little bit more. You can see where they put the work right behind the legs and everything. Looks like it's supported, the main body is supported by like a little pier, or a little pillar, I mean. And then they built it up around it. It looks like it's hollow. Very nice. So here's the base of the main chetty. So like I said earlier, this was built in 1285 by King Ramkhamhaeng. So the age of this is pretty impressive, and still to be in the shape it's in. Looks like there's a massive beehive up there. Wow. And this was built on another temple. So there was a temple here, and they dug up all the important artifacts, and then they built this temple on the top of that former temple. You can see the railings all around. This truly is amazing here. And the work of the bees right there by the tree. You see the massive, massive honeycomb. So the bees are as busy as the workers were to build this temple. And then looking back at the temple with all the chettys and the ones that we already took a look at. Now this ruin complex is massive. There's a series of walls, and it just goes on and on and on. Now they have some little carts that can take you all around to the far-flung ones, but we're just walking. I figure that's the best way to explore, but it is pretty hot. So if you have a little difficulty walking, the little tram or trolley would be the way to go. This is out of the way. Doesn't seem to be very many tourists here, but it is amazing. It's one of the funnest things I've done in quite a while. So here's another little temple, Wat Suan Khao Noi, which is like the little space. We saw the one over there that was Yai, which was the big space, but this one is the little space. This is pretty cool. I mean, you see the top of that temple still intact. And this is right next to the royal palace. That might be why it's kind of in better shape than the others. It might be better constructed. You can see the stupa there and the brickwork. And it's surrounded by the wall also, like pretty much every ruin we've seen here. Now the map shows 42 different ruins. I don't think we have time to spend to see all 42. I think these main ones will be mostly it, unfortunately. Just never have enough time in the day. And this video would be 14 hours long, I think, if I got to spend the whole day here looking. And another Buddha. Have the pigeons that have found their home in here. So it's in the seated loaded position. You can't tell if that was painted around there or anything. It's hard to say. But you can still see this is all pretty much still intact here. Wow, pretty nice. So the center part of this whole temple complex here. So the workers are taking a little break here. They got their hammock strung, and the best one, the most comfortable worker in the whole world. Right there. Just taking a nap right in the middle of the road. You got to be pretty tired. All right, so one last temple here. We're going to check out Wat Pra Si Ratana Manahat Rajar Rava, or whatever you call it. So this temple is outside of the city walls that we just were with all the other ruins. And it's still attached to a working temple. So you have this part that's still used today, and then this part that is just next to it. And this is amazing here. Now this is another one of the 13th century temples, and it's clearly built in the Khmer style. And there's some inscriptions and all that talk about it being part of the Khmer outpost here. Let's go inside and take a look really quick. Now we came over here to get some lunch and we saw this, so this is definitely worth a stop. So they say the inscriptions in this are of the Khmer style. I don't know enough about it to be an expert at all. You got a low gate, and then you can come into the temple. And it is in amazing shape. The only thing missing is the roof of this. And then you have all the little chetties on the outside here. Some of them are still intact, others are falling down quite badly. It still has the stucco on these piers. And you can see how they did it. Pretty nice. Now let's see the Buddha. It says, do not put gold leaf on the Buddha statue. Wow, very nice. And it's the Sukhothai style of the Buddha. As you can tell by the face, the ears. I have the walking Buddha here. Got about 1 million pigeons. I had a Buddha that's down in a hole. Oh, this is gigantic. Just give you an idea how big it is. And here's the stairwell, so we'll go behind him. One more set of stairs. And up here. Wow. So here's the main holy relic. It's really damp and mildewy in here. I have about 1 million birds. But here it is. So you come up here and pray. And when you're done, this is the view you have from the top of the temple. Wow. And the hike, climbing the stairs up here is pretty similar to Waterun in Bangkok. Pretty steep. Has a little tiny guardrail. And you can just see the top of the Buddha head right there. All right. And some more of the temple over there. All right, very cool. All right, here's the seated Buddha right here on this other side of the temple. The shape of this that it's in is amazing. This is so nice. You can see, so you can't get out this way at all. You can still see some of the stonework that they did on the support piers. You can still see how that looked right there. Looks like they have an elephant right at that part. Pretty nice. And that part of the temple right on the back side of the big Buddha. Looks like it has some more stairs, can climb up and see in that little alcove up there. The top is gone. That probably went up to a point at one time. Amazing. A lot of work went into building this. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did. That was a lot of fun. I could spend 2 or 3 days here. This is very nice. But anyway, gotta continue on the journey. So anyway, if you liked the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed now, subscribe to my channel. If you want to see something different, leave me a comment down below. Share it with your friends, anybody you think might like it. That always helps me out. And as always, guys, life is a journey. So enjoy.